As you can see from some of the footage I captured over the past few days, this is one of the biggest features of this camera, something that no other RED camera has ever had. The obsessive DP. All right, welcome back to the Obsessive DP. I'm Ryan. This is the show where we go over high-level industry-grade production value, high-level tips for cinematography, director of photography, camera, lensing, lighting, etc. Today is a little different kind of video. Obviously, there's a different angle, and we're going to be talking about the RED Komodo unboxing. We got this guy the other day. Full disclosure, my business partner and I already unboxed it, but we're going to unbox it here for you so you can see everything that's inside in case you want to buy it. So let's just open it right up. Got a nice case that's useless. There it goes, foam. And we've got our nice RED sticker that you put on your car if you're a RED fanboy. Let's open just straight up to the action. Here it is. Here's the RED Komodo. Super awesome, super small, only 4 inches on any one side. It's no bigger than 4 inches. It's got the nice red branding. Clearly, it says Komodo 6K on this side. We've got our Canon battery mounts here. Nice interface on the top, actually. I was not expecting it to be as nice as it is. We have some actual buttons here. This is new for RED. Most RED products, you changed everything on the menu or on the monitor. On the touchscreen monitor. No longer, we actually have a menu button. I think this is the first actually to have a playback button, a select button, a down, up, and menu button. Also, the on-off switch, I believe, is new. As far as I know, it's usually just the record button, but there's actually a switch. We have C-Fast memory card action here. As far as I know, that's the first. RF mount, also a first. There's a lot of firsts on this camera. It's the first to be this small, the first to have an RF mount, the first to have an integrated menu on the brain, first to have tactile buttons right here next to the menu, on-off switch, a wireless interface here. You can actually see live view straight from the camera without a third-party app. It's just the built-in free app you can get on any device. What else do we have in here? Paperwork, power adapter here, universal power for different countries. I honestly don't know why they included this, because you can just get it when you go to a different country. I don't know why it needs to be in the kit. Here's our RF to EF mount. Here's the thing with this camera. It's cool that it has the RF mount. That's how they kept it so small. But no one has RF lenses, right? I don't know anyone that has ever used an RF lens on like a production scenario. So you have the RF to EF adapter here. So you can mount any EF lens on this, any Canon lens. You can also get the RF to PL adapter, which a lot of professionals I think will use as well, because PL mount lenses are the most commonly used on professional sets. So let's rig this bad boy up. So we got our Komodo, we got our power source. We don't yet have any batteries, or we're actually buying a Canon to V mount adapter. So we'd be able to use all of our other batteries, which is easier than buying a bunch of new batteries. So we're gonna power her on, see what happens here. You gotta flip on the switch. Forgot to do that right here. Powering on. Powering on. There it is. There's our skull. That's RED for you. They love their skulls over there. And it's going to initialize. There it is, initializing. Blah, 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 blah. Good, we're up and running. We have no lens, so this thing is small. So it's very fun and interesting to hold it like this. We don't yet have our handles, but it's just like, you feel like you're working an old like medium format camera, like in the old days, just controlling it like that. So let's get our RF to EF adapter. So our RF to EF adapter, RF is this side, the camera, EF is our lens. So let's pop that on the camera first. Okay, our lens right here. This is a Canon. We don't have a lot of Canon automatic lenses. The reason I wanted to try a Canon automatic is to test out the autofocus. This is one of the biggest features of this camera, something that no other RED camera has ever had. Honestly, no other high-level on-set production camera has that. You could argue that the Canon C series has it, the newest ones, but if you're talking about Arri versus RED, neither of them have them until now on this Komodo. So we can see through it here. This is the interesting part. I don't think this has ever been done on a RED camera. You can see what the lens sees right here. There's my hand. That's new on this readout. I mean, honestly, if you didn't want to buy a monitor, you don't have to. You should, because for me as a DP and being on set all the time, you want something bigger, something that you can really look at. The awkward thing about this monitor here is looking down at it. Let's say you're just filming a normal interview, you're staring straight down versus looking at your scene and at the monitor next to it. So that's a little bit awkward as far as this camera goes. I really like the menu on this camera. They took a huge step up from the DSMC2 series, which is the other RED camera we have. On that series, it just feels like an outdated camera system, an outdated UI, whereas this has colorful, it's quicker, it's really fun to navigate, it's really easy to navigate. I feel like they did a great job on this. When you're using the DSMC2 series or older, it really feels like you're on like Windows 98, and it's slow and it's laggy and it's not fun to deal with, and the menus are complicated and hard to find. This actually has some super cool, it's just a good like color readout. It has a lot of nice looking buttons. It's fun to touch buttons on this because they're nice looking and they're easy to grab. The record button's actually here too. Honestly, if you just wanted to use this, you could. You don't have to use these buttons. All right, so a big milestone they hit on this camera is it's the first one to feature third-party media. And speaking of third-party media, this is honestly one of my favorite parts. Where is it? This guy here is not specifically made by RED. It's actually made by Angelbird. It's this great little CFast reader. Look at how it integrates with RED. Look at the branding on the side. Looks awesome. The branding in the front, you just see RED stick out. It's all the way in. That card's all the way in. Boom. Almost as cool as the DSMC2 RED reader and card. Not quite at that level, but it's a great little system made by Angelbird. This is actually a USB-C cable. It looks like it's part of the actual unit, but it's not. This cable can be taken out, and then it's a standalone unit. Without it, you put it in, it looks like it was manufactured that way. I really was surprised by this because I heard that they were only using third-party media. I thought, well, it's gonna be second rate. It's not. They stepped it up in the third-party media route, and it's cheap and it looks good, and I feel confident that it's going to be great media. I feel like half of the manufacturing of media is a mirage into making the user feel that it's trustworthy and reliable. Because if you don't have reliable media, you might as well not even sell cameras. So let's pop the card in. The door opens right here, kind of like an Arri Alexa. Boom, it opens, and then you just drop it in. Obviously the RED is looking towards you as you drop it in, towards camera. Boom, now we're loaded. So we, Graham and I at Knack Neck, we took the route of buying the hydrogen phone right here. We thought that it was going to be a display device for our DSMC2 cameras. That didn't happen, but it is for this camera, so it's pretty cool. You just got to grab the Wi-Fi of the camera. It's already got it, and then you load the RED Control app, and then you click the camera, Komodo. So I click the Komodo button right there, and now it loaded the camera, and I can see what the monitor sees on the camera and all of the settings, which is super cool. I'm super stoked on this. This is something great to have when you're low on manpower and you need to maybe operate 2 cameras at once. I would never argue that you should try to do that, but sometimes that happens and your budget gets cut and you need to figure out ways to save money. This is a way. Yeah, I haven't tried this yet, but you can click this screen to change focus. You just click on whatever you want on screen. It will try to focus on that. See how it's turning yellow and then green? That means it's focused. Very cool to have all the settings right here. It seems that it works well. Obviously, this antenna has something to do with that. This is something that a DSMC2 camera has never had. You do have full control, but it does not have the display, and it's much less reliable because this has a built-in antenna. DSMC2 does not. Alright guys, we're back and we're recording on both cameras right now. So I've got the A7S and I've got the RED Komodo right here side by side. We can check to see how the autofocus is working on both of these. It should be coming in here. Let's let it go. That should change the background. Now it should pop on me. Let's see how long it takes each one. I don't know. So I've done a few test shots and in my findings, I found that the A7S is pretty good. It kind of takes a minute sometimes to realize that it needs to focus, but once it does it quickly and accurately. What I found about the Komodo, and now the autofocus is still in beta on Komodo. I don't want to stress that. I do want to stress that enough. It's still in beta. I probably shouldn't even be talking about it yet, but so far I found that it's good. It's trying all the time to change focus. You can even pick the focus in the frame. I'm doing it right now on the hydrogen, and you can change around the frame as much as you want. And it does it constantly, but sometimes it misses or it goes too far, or it kind of is jittery sometimes where it goes like a little too far and then tries to come back. I like that it's always searching for focus, but it doesn't always nail it right away. It seems that the A7 usually nails it right away, but it's a little slower and there's a little bit of a pause between focusings. Overall thoughts on the Komodo, I think it's a really good camera. I think there's a lot of uses in professional use, but there are probably more uses in the prosumer use with the autofocus, just the form factor and the price. There's a lot of reasons why prosumers would use this, YouTubers, low-level videographers, etc., because it has a great entry-level price point and it has a lot of good features. The biggest feature, the blow-away feature that is way better than our DSMC2 camera, our Helium, is that it actually has global shutter. As far as I know, this is the first time that RED has put a global shutter on the main part of one of their cameras. I know sometimes you can add it via a mount. This is what we would have used to drive by, to use as a camera car, or anytime we're working in a linear environment, horizontal environment. That's when you really see the bent of the non-global shutter, whereas the global shutter cannot do that just in its nature. It's a much better sensor. It is a big feature for a small camera sensor. It's very cool that they added it to this camera. As you can see from some of the footage I captured over the past few days, I feel like it is close to the RED DSMC2, but it's not quite there. It's a little bit crunchier. It's not as polished. You can see that there's just the dynamic range is not quite there. It doesn't have the color, the polish, the dynamic range as the DSMC2 line cameras have right out of the sensor, but there's obviously things you can do in post. I still think it's a great small camera. We have not rigged this thing out yet. We have not put it to the full test. I love to come back and do another review when we've done that. I really love having this camera as part of our lineup. The first time we've had a B camera. What we're probably going to use this for is a B camera for interviews, as well as our dedicated Ronin camera. So this will just live on our Ronin throughout the day, throughout the shoot day, so we don't have to take that 15 to 20 minutes to build down the DSMC2 camera that was in a shoulder rig or on a tripod and build it down to the Ronin setup, because it's a totally different setup. It takes time out of your day. Having this camera as a dedicated B cam, Ronin cam, means you can do it simultaneously. I love that they made a camera at this price point and at this attainability for other users. Even the accessories have been super cheap so far. We're still waiting on some of our accessories because they're pre-order. Once we do, we're gonna have a build out video where we show you how we build this thing out. We feel like it would be super informative for you guys. Hope you guys come back in the next one. Make sure you like and subscribe this video. Comment down below if you want to see more videos of this type or this caliber, or if you have a similar video you want us to do. We're down to do it. Stay obsessed.